Yes, the warrior that will destroy you.
His name is Danny DeVito. He will defeat you if he wants, if he please. And if you don't give him his lemons, then he will break your knees. Your knees. His name is Danny DeVito. He really needs those lemons. And if you don't give them to him, he'll break your knee.
Hello, everybody. Sonic X Shadow Generations comes out in less than a week, so you know what? To celebrate this, I thought I would do the honors of going ahead and giving Sonic Generations the story it truly deserves. The one we know it really deserves. And you know, hopefully the story gets a little bit of a good update in Generations X Shadow, whatever it's called. But yeah, without further ado, this is episode 1, the classic era. Let's see what I can do, everyone. Let's go. Also, this will be loosely based off of another one. I can't remember who it was by, but I will put a link to the original in the description. And yeah, let's get started in 3, 2, 1, let's go! Our story starts deep at the very outer limits of space itself, where we find Dr. Robotnik, or more fittingly, Dr. Eggman, just sitting there after his most recent defeat at the hands of Sonic in his color amusement park. But while he is floating through space, he stumbles upon a clump of sheer dark energy. He tries to scan it in his hovercraft, but it completely fries the sensors on it. It also gives poor Orbot and Cubot a headache to even look at it. So naturally, Eggman goes closer to investigate. But once he gets closer, the dark matter starts taking physical shape. It takes shape of the Time Eater. It's peering through a time hole. With this, Dr. Eggman feels fear. But just then, when all hope seems lost, a dark burst of energy wraps around Dr. Eggman and he disappears. Suddenly, Cubot and Orbot are pulled into a void out of nowhere, where they are greeted by the Time Eater. They try to escape, but before they can, the Time Eater pumps them full of a dark energy, and the scene fades back to black. We come back to Dr. Robotnik in his lab. He is passed out from the endeavor. Eventually, he gets back up. He is a bit dazed at first, but then he remembers what happened at the very outer limits of space. He is very confused. He has no idea how or why he managed to get back to his lab. But hey, he isn't complaining. During the whole ordeal, he managed to snatch a small bit of that dark energy. He puts it into a test tube and starts running experiments on it. It starts taking shape of a highly unstable version of the Time Eater. he has an idea to use this. He takes what's left of the broken egg carrier after that other creature had messed with its circuits, and he puts it into the test tube. Just as he had hoped, the remnants of the Time Eater fixes the Eggomatic hovercraft up like nothing. He then gets a devious idea of how to use this beast. He manages to separate the Eggomatic hovercraft from the test tube. Just then, Cubot and Orbot appear out of nowhere. Then his worst fear comes true. They break open the test tube and outpours the Time Eater energy, and everything goes horribly wrong as it all starts to fade to white. From here on out, this is where the original event of the Time Eater kidnapping happens. Eventually, Eggman wakes up, but he isn't where he thinks he would be. He's in Green Hill Zone of all places. Eggman is more confused than ever now. He starts flying around in his Eggomatic hovercraft, when suddenly he stumbles upon classic Sonic and classic Tails. This angers Eggman immensely. He's like, this can't be! First, my entire lab gets devoured by that beast, and now I have to meet the blue pincushion. Eggman gets ready to battle. Classic Sonic sees him and just gives him a friendly wave. This confuses him. He was expecting an insult and immediately attacking. He brushes it off and is like, no matter. This is just weird. I'm going to destroy Sonic once and forever. Ha ha ha. This'll do. He clicks a button on the Eggomatic hovercraft, causing it to drop a ball and chain. Thus, a battle with the Egg Wrecker begins. Yes, this was inspired by the other Sonic Generations story rewrite, but hey, it fits. So I'm also doing it, because I'm just that creative. Oh my goodness. Anyway, battle ensues, and inevitably Eggman loses. He grabs at his mustache and starts screaming and cursing the hedgehog. Classic Sonic looks confused because he hasn't known Robotnik to be this violent. After a while of brooding and ranting around, Eggman looks at Classic Sonic and then realizes there has been a severe lack of insults thrown at him recently. He is confused. As a matter of fact, the entire time they were fighting, the hedgehog didn't speak once. No one-liner, no cringy callback to a past adventure, just dead silence. Eggman just is shocked for a little bit and says, "You aren't the Sonic I know, are you?" This is when he starts to realize just how different he looks from his nemesis. Then, the screen switches to modern Sonic and modern Tails. They are running through modern Green Hill Zone. That's right, that's what happens when they stumble upon classic Eggman, aka Robotnik. Robotnik is just standing there, looking confused, scratching his head as if he doesn't know how he got there. Modern Sonic takes this chance and is like, "Oh yeah! So this is game time!" He runs over and kicks Robotnik in the butt and gives him a good old laugh and says, "Hey, Eggster, are you responsible for this? If so, then get ready for another embarrassing beatdown." Classic Robotnik looks absolutely mortified at this and is like, when did you speak? Where am I? What happened? What? Eggman, or Robotnik, just starts rambling on about how confused he is. Modern Sonic realizes that something is up, and is like, well, you'd usually jump at the opportunity of killing me by now. Is everything alright, Egghead? Robotnik is like, Egghead, how dare you? I am no egg. Sonic replies, whatever you say, Eggman. Robotnik takes offense to this. I am no Eggman. I am Robotnik, a great scientific genius, and I'd very much appreciate it if you refer to me that way. Now, if you would excuse me, I'd like to get back to wherever this isn't and start building my amusement park. This confuses Modern Sonic. He's like, hold up, wait, you haven't tried to build an amusement park for ages. They start conversing, and Sonic realizes that this might not be the version of Eggman he's come to grow in love. Just then, an out-of-control robot comes by. It is the Egg Driller from Sonic 2. Yes, I know, it was in Emerald Hill Zone, but they're similar enough, so I'm gonna use it as the Act 2 boss. The Egg Driller from Sonic 2 comes screaming into the screen. Eggman's like, oh, what the heck? He hops in the car and starts trying to drive off when Sonic's like, oh no you don't! Ensue the modern Act 2 of Green Hill boss battle. After the boss battle is concluded, Sonic runs over to check on Robotnik after the wreckage. Robotnik is dazed. He isn't used to fighting such a quick opponent. Sure, he has classic Sonic, but modern Sonic is something else entirely. Just then, an explosion can be heard in the distance. We see classic Sonic booking it with classic Tails as they're being chased by Eggman. He's shooting missiles saying, I don't care if you're my Sonic or not, a Sonic is a Sonic, and I will finally destroy you, rodent! Ho ho ho! Modern Sonic sees this and isn't exactly pleased. Robotnik sees this and just confused as all heck. Modern Sonic runs up and with one kick, he single-handedly flings Eggman into a wall, breaking the missile launcher. Eggman's like, oh, I can't believe this. He looks up and he literally lets out a blood-curdling scream as he realizes there's two Sonics standing in front of him. No, you gotta be kidding me! There's two of you? Oh, that explains why I could never beat you. You've probably been playing a swapping game of disguise or whatever. Modern Sonic looks over and then screams himself as he realizes, wait a minute, there is another him. This leaves both of them confused as they realize they have no idea what's happening. Sonic and Eggman get in a fight. He's like, this is your fault, isn't it, Eggman? I don't know! How would this be my fault? Do you really think I would duplicate you on purpose? Robotnik chips in and says, okay, what's happening here? There seems to be doubles of all of us here. There's two foxes, two hedgehogs, and two of me? Wait, except you look much different. Why did you change the classic get-up? Did you not like my style back in the 90s? Eggman looks inherently shocked to see that is a version of him and from the past no longer. Eggman sits there and thinks for a minute, and then his mustache droops. He looks at them all and says, there is a slight chance I may have accidentally destroyed the timeline. Everyone sighs and just gives Eggman a disapproving headshake. After that, they all converse a little. Robotnik and Eggman are getting to re-know each other. Modern Tails, classic Sonic, and modern Sonic all get to know each other. Classic Robotnik chips in and says, "Alright, so you're telling me that you were wandering through outer space because your amusement park blew up, and then you found a time-controlling deity. You stole a small part of its body and tried to use it to conquer the world. And then, oh my goodness, who's calling me?" Sorry for that interruption, anyone. Anyway, Classic Robotnik is just basically slandering Eggman for, messing with an eldritch god of time and space. Eggman says, "Oh, don't get too self-righteous. You'll resort to it pretty soon after that hedgehog destroys everything you love, too." Robotnik looks a bit concerned and is like, why do I believe he would do that? From what I've seen, he's a pretty nice fellow, besides the fact that he doesn't want me building on his land. Modern Eggman just quivers at the thought of the hedgehog being a nice friend. Just then, another blue blur spins by. It's Adventure Sonic? Alright, so let me explain this. I think it'd be fun to have classic Adventure and modern Sonic all in one game. And yes, they would have to add a third act to every level for Adventure Sonic. Just then, Adventure Sonic swoops by after completing his Green Hill level. And everyone's confused. That's a third Sonic. A third one. And not far behind him comes Adventure Tails and Adventure Eggman. And after this, Eggman and Robotnik is just incredibly confused. Everyone is confused at this point. They have no idea what's happening or why all this is happening. Just then, the adventure boss fight is going to be something special, because out of nowhere, the Time Eater appears again and starts devouring everything, causing the whole of reality around them to fall apart. Adventure Sonic takes on this challenge. After all, he has fought gods. With a few homing attacks and one miniature boss fight later, the Time Eater would not be using its full power. The Time Eater decides it's done with this game and disappears back into a portal. This leaves them all confused. The worst part is, it looked to be the same corrupted small piece of energy that it ripped off the main Time Eater back in outer space. Eggman then gets a brilliant idea. His hovercraft was built by the Time Eater, so he starts tinkering with the other two Eggmans and builds a portal device. Eggman shoots a beam and a portal opens. They all hop in and the portal closes. Now before the screen follows them, the camera would turn to see a portal open up and have the Time Eater come out and then literally tear apart all of time and space, leaving the Green Hill white and dead like it was before.
Hello everybody, this is I, the Danny. Now originally this video was supposed to come out as one giant long movie that would completely cover the classic era. Unfortunately, I have had several time constraints, and this has taken me a lot longer than I was hoping it would. So, yeah, I had to quickly take out the first part of the video, which was Green Hill, and I'm going to be releasing this in parts, which is not what I wanted to do. But, as I said, this video was inspired by Garrulus64's What If Sonic Generations Had a Real Story, the Sonic Generations rerun. But it has been a solid 4 years since the last time he posted a Sonic Generations rewrite, so I genuinely do believe he has given up on it. And who knows, maybe one will come out in the next couple of years and I'll be proven horribly wrong. But until then, I'm here doing my own take on the story that is highly inspired by his, but it will go in a completely different direction. And don't worry, I'll make sure I get the full video out as soon as possible. Without further ado, I sincerely hope you all enjoyed this video. Be looking forward to part 2 coming out soon. Peace, everybody.